I want to show you how you can make a bikini, a two-piece swimsuit, with only a few measurements. If you refer to drafting the front swimsuit template, taking the measurements for your swimsuit, if you've recorded those and you have them, you can use them. Because a two-piece requires a bottom and a top. We can make a bikini, a one-piece or a two-piece for any size. These measurements are from a bigger size. First, we draw in a center front line and we square a line out to the right at the top equal to half the front waist measurement. We measure out 9.5 plus the 1.25 plus a quarter for the ease. And we square a line down from the quarter mark 7 inches and mark that. And on our center front, we square a line over to that point, a line equal to 1/4 of the entire hip measurement plus 3/4. And from our top on our waistline, we measure down half the crotch depth, and from that point we measure up 6 inches, and from that point we measure out half our crotch crease measurement and mark it at the end, and we measure out from the bottom of the crotch crease, which is a standard amount of 1.5 inches. Might be smaller, might be bigger. From there up to point 3, we draw in our crotch crease line. We have our hip point. We'll draw a hip curve down from the waist and we'll decide on a hip value of our suit. We'll start at 2 inches here. And from point 3, we'll make a front style line of our bikini. And that is the front piece of the bikini. Next, we're going to draft the back piece. If you refer to the back swimsuit PDF that you got in the downloads, you can follow the step-by-step instruction. And with your fabric on hand, we'll determine the stretch value. We'll deduct it out of the pattern. We're going to fold for stretch right then. Blend in all of our lines, add the seam allowance, cut it out, and have a bikini. And the first thing that we do on the back piece is draw a center back line, and we measure out at the top right a line equal to half the back waist measurement plus 1.25 inches plus a quarter for your ease, and we name our top right point 2. And you square a line down 7 inches from the quarter mark, and from the center back at the 7-inch mark, measure out a quarter of your full hip measurement plus 3/4, and mark that your H point. Draw a hip line up to your quarter mark on the waist. From point 2, measure down the center back half crotch depth measurement and measure out your standard 1.5 inches. Just like we did the front, the side seam at the waist and the crotch width at the bottom of the crotch depth match the front. And we're going to walk those together and verify that before we fold for stretch. Then we're going to create and design the swimsuit. What we want to do for the butt crease is we need to find the center of our back waist measurement, not including the dart, the 1.25 inches, or the quarter. We take our back waist measurement and divide that by 2 and mark that on the top of the waistline. That is our butt crease mark line that we're going to square a line down the total butt crease measurement. Draw a hip curve from that point like the front. We decide on our waistband we're going to do 2 inches, and we're going to design our waistband here just like the front. When we put the front together, we have this amount and they are the same, and we take our ruler and we style in a style line, and this is our coverage area. Then we're going to decide if we want to make this out here out more. We will decide that and we'll design however it's going to fit. And as you design and make swimsuits for yourself, you'll be able to know right what you want as far as your coverage area goes for the front and the back. And in the class, we've walked out our pattern, so you know that. And if you don't remember that, refer back to the walking out of our patterns and you can refresh. We find the fabric that we want to use for our bikini. We find the value of our fabric. We fold the pattern for the stretch value, which we know is 15% in the pattern on the widest amount. Every 5 inches, we draw in our fold line, that 15%, and we fold that out and refer to stretch factorization video. We fold out that amount on the front and on the back. We put our tape in. Now this is where we can design. Now that we have our stretch value, we want to add our seam allowance, which we know is going to be 3/8. Now if we have a design in the back and we want to do something in the back, say lower, we want to do a design here, or we want to do another fancy design which is called slash and open, and that's for another class. But then we take our seam allowance on our style line from the waistline, we add 3/8 there, and then we want to get us a nice blend going. Generally, when you do a full coverage back from our coverage area point, we want to draw our pattern line out and then up to our seam allowance point, and we add our seam allowance on that, and we create our rear area. and we style it out. You can cut that just like we did in designing a swimsuit video. We cut out our waist top, and then of course this becomes our fold line, which we know in the video of cutting out our pattern, we don't do that. We mirror. We put another piece on top of that and trace it off, and we make a one piece. And we do the same thing to the front. We blend that in from our cutting line down here, and we make it nice and comfortable, and we add our seam allowance. Then we have both of our patterns, and now we're going to draft the top. We draw our center front line on the bodice, or we just trace it off of our template, and we draw out to the left our apex point, and then we take from our above bust, which is our top cup, and our depth of cup are the same. We take that measurement and we measure from our apex up that amount. Then we want to draw a circle, like we made in the draft of drafting the front swimsuit template. So that we can design from that, we're going to draw a circle. Find the 0 point on the holes in our ruler with the awl in the 0 point hole, and we measure out 4.5 inches, and we draw a circle. This is exactly the bust that we will have. And if you notice, the bust will run into the center front, which means they might touch each other. And then we take from our center a comfortable width to make a strap. We also want to stay in the center of the apex, and that way we can design any design that we wish on a sweetheart bikini top. We do not need to fold for stretch. It doesn't really matter, because the sweetheart top is small enough, and we're going to make a channel on the bottom to where you make your string, you put it in the channel, and then you just bunch it up together, so you don't need to fold for stretch. From our top right here, we add our seam allowance, which is 3/8, and we know that from our apex up is going to be our depth of bust. So if we measure from our top cup up to our depth of bust shoulder seam, and that's going to be our strap amount times 2 plus the back. So you can calculate that. And then we have our center of our cleavage point. In this case, we know that our bust line is going to extend outside. So we want to keep this mark where our circle is. And this is going to be our depth of cup. And we're going to add our 3/8. We're going to add 1/2 inch on our bottom to make the channel that you put your tie string in. We cut on these lines 2, and we cut a channel string, usually 30 to 40 inches. And there you have your bikini. And that concludes the bonus video, how to make a bikini, a 2-piece suit. If you refer to assembling the swimsuit video, You can review the cutting out and assembly of the pieces, and you can put together your swimsuit. And that concludes this class. I hope that you have learned everything you need to make the swimsuit of your dreams. This is Dean Dyer, and thank you for coming to my class. I hope you'll come to my next class that I'll be making soon. Thank you.